My guest today is top 10 Christian Billboard artist Hilary Weeks, who will be performing at the Civic Auditorium in Idaho Falls March 19th as part of her Live All In tour. This is her first time on the road since 2016. Weeks began writing music at age 14 and says she feels called to help others feel God's love through music. But becoming a singer-songwriter was not always her plan. I spoke with her about the music, the tour, her upbringing, how she got her start, and the number one issue she hears from fans that shows up in her music. Here now is my conversation with Hilary Weeks. There was a number of things I wanted to talk to you about. I gotta say, though, before we start our conversation, it's been about 15 years ago or so now, but I was away from home, and around Christmas time, I was unable to go home for Christmas, but somehow I was given a gift, which was your CD Christmas Time, and that album played an integral part of my Christmas that year, and so it's so it's cool to be able to get a chance to talk to you now after all these years.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed that. I still pull out those Christmas albums. I don't know if it's weird to listen to my own music at Christmas, but I love them too, and I'm so glad that it made a difference for you.
Yeah, it was great. And then when I went to college, I was a DJ for a Christian radio station, and we played a lot of your music. And I've always enjoyed your song, "What Did He Die For?"
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good song. It's a good one. I actually didn't write that one. That was written by Twyla Harris. I don't know if you're familiar with her work.
I'm not.
But sometimes on my albums, I'll include maybe one cover song, and that year it happened to be hers, and it's such a powerful message. I love that one.
Yeah. Well, so just to kind of introduce people to who you are, you have 12 albums, I believe, to your name. The 12th one is coming out as part of our concert tour. So that'll be the first time that it's available. Do you want to talk about, maybe before we get started here, this is kind of some artists don't like to answer this question, but do you have a favorite album or favorite song over your career?
Oh, that's a hard question, huh?
Yeah. I've heard some artists say that it's kind of like asking you which one of your kids is your favorite.
Yeah, depends on the day, right?
Yeah.
I think if I had to choose a favorite song, I might say a song called "Even When," and that song is a reminder of how much Heavenly Father loves us right where we are. Not when we get to where we're hoping to be, not when we change, not when we finally become a good person, but right here, right now. And I love that reminder. And then if I had to choose a second one, it might be a song called "Love Your Life," because I wrote that with I have 4 daughters, and I wrote that with my girls in mind. It's kind of just bits and pieces of advice that I thought it's helpful for us to be able to love our lives.
Oh, okay. Very cool. This is your first time on the road since 2016, so update us on what's been happening in your life over the last 3.5 years.
Well, musically, I started something that I don't think, to my knowledge, has ever been done before. It's a music subscription. And so I release a new song every month. And not just the song, but people also get the minus track, or like the karaoke track. They get the sheet music. They get a coloring stage, printables for their home, a song study. They get access to an exclusive Facebook group that every month, I'm on every day, and I'm sharing uplifting comments with them. But I also once a month sing the song that released that month in a live concert setting. And so they have access to that. We have an app that's exclusive to our subscribers, where the songs can be played from the app, or they can download everything from their computer. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years, because music has changed quite a bit. I think CDs are still relevant, but we're not consuming them in the same quantities as we used to. We like to stream music now, and so that's this subscription allows people to stream music. Plus, they get all of that content every month for about $3 to $4 a month, depending on what price they buy at.
So what's the name of this streaming platform?
It's called Live All In.
Live All In. And is it just liveallin.com, or how do you access it?
Yeah, it's actually liveallintoday.com.
Oh, gotcha. So when did you launch that then?
In 2019. So January of 2019, the first song came out, and we've been releasing a brand new song every single month.
What's been the response?
It's been really positive. I think people have really, really enjoyed it. It's new, and it's like I said, it's never been done before. So part of my challenge was educating people to what it is and helping getting the word out to this new style of music. But people have really seemed to enjoy it.
Let me go back to the beginning here. I understand you've been writing music since you were 14 years old. Do you want to talk about your upbringing? I understand you grew up in Alaska.
And I loved growing up in Alaska. I loved being so close to nature. I loved kind of the carefree, a little bit, I don't know if down to earth is the right word, but I loved just, you didn't have to be dressed up to go to the grocery store in Alaska because you're probably trudging through the snow and the slush anyway. And I loved growing up there.
At what point did you decide that singing or songwriting was what you wanted to do?
Well, when I wrote that first song at 14, I knew that I liked it, and I thought that it would be a fun hobby, so I kept writing songs. And when I went to BYU, I studied music composition, and I'm not sure there was a point at which I wanted to pursue music, and I basically sent my music to all of the publishers in Utah, and pretty much all of them said no, that they weren't interested. But then I turned in a song for the 1993 EFY album. It was He Hears Me, and that song was accepted on that album. And Kenny Hodges, who worked for Deseret Book at the time, heard the song and contacted me and asked if I had written more music. And of course I had. And so we worked together over the next 3 years until I had enough songs. And we then, in 1996, created my first CD. All of that to say, I'm not sure I ever set out to have this be my career, but I feel like this is where God wanted me. And I feel like it's part of what my plan was in life, was to be a musician and a songwriter and to share music that would be uplifting to people and help people feel God's love. And so that's where my journey has taken me. And I'm so glad that it has. I've loved it.
And so this wasn't something you set out to do. So what were you originally planning to do?
I don't know that I really had my heart set on a career. And I wanted to be a wife and a mom, and I that's my number one priority still. I love music, and I love sharing it with people, and I like performing, but really my number one aspiration is to be a really great wife and mother.
When you started writing songs, was it always faith-related?
Oh, yeah. I've never felt a desire or a pull to write a love song or anything like that, although I love that kind of music. I love country music. I love pop, and I listen to that kind of music, but my heart was always drawn to writing Christian, inspirational, faith-based music.
So what's been your favorite part of this whole journey and this whole experience?
Well, one of the phrases I hear most when people are kind enough to take a minute to share their story with me or to tell me how the music has blessed them, I hear a phrase over and over again, and they say, "Your music got me through my darkest hour." And the thought of something that I wrote being able to communicate to their heart and their soul and to lift them out of a dark place in a time when they were struggling the very most really just is really meaningful to me. I'm so grateful that I get to share music in that way.
What kind of things inspire you? What?
People's stories, life experiences, trying to express what people have gone through or what they may have felt through a song. And whether that's something that's like heartbreaking or whether that's something just like really beautiful where we've felt God's love or something where our faith has been strengthened. I just love writing that kind of music.
All the songs you've written, all the albums that you have to your credit, would you say there's a particular theme?
No, not really, because I've written, let's see, I think I've done 12 CDs, and they each have about, between 10, 12 songs. So, of course, the topics have to vary so that people can find what they're looking for on each of those albums. So there's just a variety of topics. Actually, it was my last 3 CDs that released all charted in the top 10. So it was the whole CD, and they charted it within the top 10. I can't remember what each one was.
Yeah, well, so talk about that. What's your reaction to that?
To charting in the top 10?
Yeah.
Well, I was the first LDS artist to ever do it, to chart in the Christian Billboard chart. So it was very exciting.
Placing in the top 10, has that given your music greater exposure? Has it opened up new opportunities for you?
That's a good question. It's hard to say. I'm sure it has. It's probably in small ways exposed more people to the music, but I can't necessarily think of any direct opportunities that have come as a result of that. But it is super fun to be able to say. It's a fun little feather in the cap, that's for sure.
Sure. When you go on tour over the years, as you've met people, and is there one particular song that you hear fans talk about most when they meet you?
At the top of that list would probably be Beautiful Heartbreak.
Why does that song resonate with so many people?
Because I think at one point or another, all of us go through a challenge or difficulty that is heartbreaking, and that song is all about seeing what is beautiful and sacred and hopeful on the other side of that heartbreak, and just the reassurance that there is good that can come from the difficult things that we go through.
You told me earlier one of the biggest things that inspires you is hearing other people's stories. What's the biggest challenge or issue that people have had to deal with that has given you a reason to maybe sing about that topic in your music?
Well, I had an interesting experience last summer. I asked all of the subscribers of Live All In what they would like to have me write a song about, and the number one answer really surprised me. They wanted a song about depression and anxiety. And I think it's really a relevant issue in our day and age, and I was also very, very intimidated about writing a song about that, but I did it, and that song was the January 2020 song, so it was the very first song to release this year as part of the subscription, and it seemed to be really well received. It was a song that it wasn't, I think, depression and anxiety, I couldn't write a song that just was 100% this is going to be okay and it's, all hope. I think it also needed to capture that it is difficult and that it affects a lot of us, and that it's not just something that we can change our minds about or just start thinking positive thoughts and it'll go away. So I tried to capture hope, but I also tried to capture just how real it was for us for those who struggle with it.
What was the name of the song?
The song is called Keep Going. And again, it's only available right now through the subscription. Next year, I might release it on a CD, but right now it's just through the app and through the subscription membership.
Depression and anxiety. Why do you think that's becoming an increasingly common issue that people deal with?
I really don't know. I don't know much about it. In fact, that was part of the reason that it felt a little intimidating to write a song. But I do know that every one of us, whether we experience it ourselves or we have a loved one who experiences it, I just don't know of anyone who hasn't been touched by depression and anxiety in one way or another.
Okay, well, so let's talk about your tour then. It's the Live All In 2020 concert tour. You're visiting half a dozen different venues over this month and into April. Talk about this show and what people can expect.
Well, they're going to hear some of their favorite songs. I'm definitely going to sing some oldies but goodies that they have known and loved for years. But we tried to pick different songs than they heard during the 2016 tour. So there's not a lot of repeats from that tour, which I think is really exciting. They'll get to hear all new music. Plus, I'll be singing a lot of the songs from 2019 Live All In. So those brand new songs that released once a month last year, I'll be singing some of those. So for people who were subscribers last year, they'll get to come and hear those songs live. And for people who weren't subscribers last year, they'll be exposed to some brand new music, which will be really fun. And then we have a few surprises up our sleeves that people may not have experienced in a concert setting before, which I'm really excited about.
And that's happening March 19th at the Civic Auditorium in Idaho Falls, and people can get tickets through your website. Now, you've been to Idaho Falls before. Anything you want to say to people in Idaho Falls and surrounding areas?
Yeah, I'm just so grateful for their support over the years. I've been doing music for nearly 25 years now, and I'm so grateful for all of their support, and I'm just really excited to sing these songs for them.
For tickets to our upcoming concert in Idaho Falls, visit the link on our website. For EastIdahoNews.com, I'm Rhett Nelson. Thanks for listening.